have a website.
Careful. Careful now. Maybe there is. It's a work in progress, but it does exist.
Alright. Hey, did you ever call?
No. I decided I should make a website before I say I can make websites. So,
Yeah.
the seabug website is my first non-WordPress stealing everything. So yeah.
I think they're just on Wix anyway now.
Yeah. I still cheat a lot. Bootstrap, as it were.
You can sort of shortcut it using CKEdit.
Not usually a good idea.
I would go so far as to say that since this is Seattle, there's a good chance that I do not crack the top 5 people who can make websites in this room.
Well, you know, you can always call me and I can lift something in for you.
Oh, thank you, Brian. I need some good mentorship.
Okay.
All right. So what are we doing today? What is seabug? Why are we here? Seabug is the Seattle Blender User Group. We meet every month-ish, except when we don't. On the first Saturday of the month, except when it's the second one. And we talk about Blender for a while. We took a break last month because of it was winter and nobody wants to drive in the snow and stuff like that.
Because there was snow.
And I was, but 2 months of making content. I, for one, have so much stuff to show that I'm going to try and go really fast. I'm not doing any beginner stuff, so who here is totally new? Anyone do? All right, that's good.
I'm a noob.
So yeah, we're going to start with meet and greet. We're going to go over the itinerary. Oh wait, we're going in reverse. So meet and greet first. I'm Oscar. I've been doing this for a while. 4 years, 5 years of seabug. And I do Blender stuff semi-professionally. Well, right now I'm kind of like half employed / not employed because I have a baby and I stay home with the baby. Pretty good life. I draw a lot more.
That's where you killed the baby.
Yeah. Life is better with you, baby. She's
That
great.
excuse is growing up.
Huh?
That excuse is growing up.
No. But yeah, I do 3D contracting, visualization, occasionally illustration. Yeah. Let's say illustration. I have things to show. And that's me. Next up.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I do Blender stuff. I like Blender, so I come to these meetings. Blender whenever I can. I'm Joey. I come here also. I like Blender and to stuff do. Well.
My name's Paul. I've come here in the past. I just recently went through a quad heart bypass, and so I'm back.
Yeah. Let's see now, freaking doctor's clapping for you. Yeah. seabug. We got your back. Next up.
Hi, I'm Dean, and I use Blender for visual effects projects as well as just rendering things for the sake of rendering them.
Hi, I'm Aaron. Mostly programmer, but a little bit of other hobbies as well.
I'm Mark, Dean's dad. I'm using cookies.
I'm Jonathan. I do Starfighter 49 comic series, web series in Blender. And I do Blender and I'm obsessed with it as if I made my living off of it or something.
Nice.
Hey man, we're paranoid buddies.
I like it.
I'm Aaron. I'm just interested. I just like it.
Excellent.
I'm Matthew, and I'm a Blender artist. And I'm having fun playing with this chair.
Does it spin, Matthew?
It does, but it also goes up and down.
I'm John. I'm retired Blender user. I'm I've got a bunch of plans for using Blender in my 6 hobbies. I'm into amateur radio now too, as well as.
What's your sign?
Huh?
What's your call sign?
KG7FYX.
I'm a Libra.
But I do that, music, photography, artwork, some other things.
KF7SPA. My interest is now is 3D printing, if we can do 3D printing. And Blender, my interest or expertise is advanced input and interface technology. I'm trying to finish up my final design for a keyboard that I have a patent on. I integrated the mouse into the keyboard. So I'm hoping to finalize the design and do a Kickstarter.
Yeah. Have you bought a MakerBot yet, or are you using the Makerspace? How are you going about the 3D printing? Are you printing it?
It's all new to me right now, so maybe you have some ideas.
I can point you in the right direction.
Okay, cool.
I can call in some favors to get a couple free prints too. Want me to print some?
Does the library have a free printer? I mean, that you can use somewhere?
I believe for 3D printing, Kinko's, or not Kinko's, Office Max is planning to roll out mass rentable 3D printing soon. So when that comes along, it's going to be pretty sweet.
Oscar, you kind of need a white blazer to go along with
Glasses, isn't that fit? Black turtleneck, white glasses.
Yeah, if you take the coat off, you look.
That's a little better.
You look like a
I still like
racquetball
how they're
player.
not act like how there's a strap.
Steve Jobs is evil twin. Good twin? Yeah, good twin.
He wasn't evil. He was mainly just kind of like an ass.
He's like a mix, so
Alright.
you can just be the other mix where you're not charming but you're ethical.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't very charming people.
Thank you.
Have to get your call again.
All right, who's next?
David, retired going engineer. I have several projects in mind, one of which I'm stumbling through.
Your call sign.
Especially that API is in the game engine is kind of destroying me, but slowly coming around.
Yeah.
Nicholas, I started using Blender quite a while ago. Just
Thank you.
Use stuff.
My name's Alec. I introduced Blender to my whole family, and my focus is visual effects.
How's your grandma doing?
She dabbles.
Unless you have Blender.
Yeah, she's pretty pro.
Yes.
Yes.
You got stuff to show? Who has stuff to show today? Oh, man. Well, we'll get to you. All right. Keep going. Next up.
Hi, my name is Jonathan, and this is my second time at seabug.
All right. We got a full house. Warren, are these all with you?
Oh,
This is really fun.
Do you guys sing a dance also?
Yeah.
All right. More introduction.
My name's Ed. For years I used 3D Max, and I've tried Maya. Maya's just not my thing, but I've gotten into Blender in the last year, and I really enjoy working. It seems like it's easier to create models and think.
Hi, I'm Joshua. I am a hobbyist game developer, and I use Blender semi-professionally, so that's kind of cool. My focus and interest is mostly in real-time assets, so low polygon stuff, mid-polygon stuff, using shaders.
Cool. And you got stuff to show?
I do. Cool. I can even lock my game if you guys are.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a cook.
My name is Bob. I'm more an engineering type, newbie to Blender. I have an opportunity to work with a group on a planetarium. So Blender has been right in.
Very cool. There's some guys in Vancouver you should look up. They did a planetarium like dome project for like 3D projection onto it. Very cool stuff.
Planetarium, or I know there's a guy from.
Yeah, Mike Pan and Delightful and so.
Yeah, Weber State, the whole webpage, I'm a newbie, so I gotta come up to speed.
Yeah, email me and I'll send you their stuff.
My name is Jonathan. I used Blender for a couple of years just for fun. Going to college next year for like animation and graphics work.
Cool. Where are you going?
I don't know yet. Still getting applications and all that sort of thing.
My name's Chuck. I'm a hobbyist, been using Blender for about 18 years. And it's mostly for 3D modeling, but I'm really getting into the composting and a lot of the other newer stuff that's coming in. But my main piece is I'm a developer. So I'm trying to get involved in the open source end of it. And I work with Microsoft on the compiler, so we're trying to get the
I like that.
Blender working well.
I like that you two are wearing Sanders gear in the midst of Seahawks Super Bowl.
This is the closest I have.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl, isn't that the thing where they release new movie trailers?
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna see the whole Spider-Man trailer. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
That's true.
I'm Michael. I'm just your format point.
I'm Brooklyn. I've been using Blender for 2 years for low poly mesh development mainly.
Excellent. You have anything to show?
I'm Mark Hidden. I've been using Blender on and off for 5 years. Just obvious. I have nothing to show. Currently, I'm on a project trying to develop a real-time sport game for Oculus Rift, and I'm looking to get developer feedback on the concept.
Cool.
I'm Carmen and I'm here to design.
Oh, good. That's great. Well, so now we all know each other. Oh yeah, Warren.
I'm Warren.
I'm not getting out of this.
Still working on it.
Okay. No problem. So yeah, we're gonna learn some Blender today. I do have one thing to pitch, 2 things to pitch. First off, just to keep this on your radar, Linux Fest Northwest is coming up. It's a close to home convention that's pretty fun. It's in April. I think I'm doing a Krita talk and a Blender talk. At least I submitted. I don't know if I'm in yet, but hope so. Because they pay for your hotel if you're a talk person. A talk person? I'm a talk person. So if you are a open source person of merit, you should consider submitting and help the Free as in Freedom community. Next up, let's get on to the first item of business, which is the seabug website. So I'm really bad at coding, but I've slowly been trying to get mediocre. And I started making a seabug website. Right now it's all, there's a newer version than this, but you know, eventually this is going to be not an IMG. But
No, you should leave it.
yeah, this is a pretty great writing, right?
But you got to make the letters dance around.
Yeah. Well, so in theory, Joey and I are working on a splash for this. It's like going to be like an underwater scene with an actual sea bug.
A bug under the sea.
This is how bad I am at learning how to code. Oh, code projects? That would make a Blender project.
What was the domain again, Oscar?
What is it?
Seabug.
Seabug.info. AKA a free URL. So I started working on
Actually,
a thing that, where, you know.
Oh my goodness.
So here's a literal sea bug. I worked on this for a while, and it's non-textured mode. This is pretty fast. And I handed it off to Joey, who retopoed it. And you know, I wanted to have several sort of ideas from the nautical world come into play. So it's got a little bit of a nautilus look. It's got the 4 tentacles of. You don't really go nautilus here. Nautilus is not the. That's true. So these guys are really gross and awesome. I love Nautilus.
Shaper Nautilus.
Yeah. But it's got a shell and then it's got a tail. A lot of this was made, although it's a mesh now, a lot of this was made using a technique that you guys probably seen me use here, which is excessive use of curves. So all these are curves that, like if we wanted to make one, for instance, I could say curve, Bezier, curve, circle. We copy the name here, so we got item, and hover, copy, and paste, which is awesome about Blender. Now on this one, we can go to its curve settings and paste it into its bevel object. And so now we have this curve that we can start making look in a certain way, and we can make this look a bit more organic as well. So I can subdivide this. And then you can get something that's starting to look a little more tentacle-like, right? If you've never worked with curves, they're really, really powerful in that they have Bezier handles, so if you scale it, it makes the Bezier longer or shorter. And you can rotate it and move it through 3D space. But what I really like is you can shrink individual Beziers with Alt-S. So you can sort of make a tentacle like this. And you can rotate curves by using Control-T for twist. And so by doing this, you can sort of slowly get not only these tentacles, but also the legs, which were basically just a series of segmented curves that, for instance, I would just extrude this a little bit, scale it down to 0, and Alt-S it down to 0. So, this one. Something like that. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. So like this would become a joint, and then I would just duplicate this with Shift-D. And then
How long it takes for you to learn that acronym?
Only 3 or 4 years.
And sort of like that, you can start getting
It's a mustache.
a really fast bug leg, or if you will, a mustache.
A rigid mustache.
Yeah.
The crab stash. Ooh, put the mustache.
Put a mustache on the thing.
You have the technology.
Let's do this.
You should do that in object mode.
Whatever.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm Joey. I have helpful ideas.
And there you go.
That sounds.
Yeah, perfect mustache. Interface object mode, man.
We have fun around here.
It's a seabug stash.
So,
You should have fluffy.
the other thing I would like to talk about, is texturing this. I asked Joey if you were reincarnated as an aquatic creature, what would you like to come back as? And he said
Mantis shrimp.
the mantis shrimp. Which mantis. So I kind of took that as inspiration for the color palette on this guy because it's insane. It's very colorful. But there's a few ideas that are really quickly useful to note about animal patterning.
As in they're the ones with eyes?
So one is counter shading. I've talked about counter shading here a lot because I like making monsters. Counter shading is something that happens in nature where if you have a ball and light comes down and it hits it here and then it casts a shadow, the ball is going to be dark on the underside and light on the top side. And that makes it very easy to distinguish what it is. So creatures in nature have a lot of tricks that they do to try and counter shading, or counter shade. And so they will be dark on top and light on the bottom. Such as, what's an animal with counter shade? Somebody help me out.
Shark.
A shark?
Yeah, sure.
Shark? Yeah, they're counter shaded.
Bird.
Bird? I feel like some birds not so much.
Oh no, the toucan, I mean that's so.
Squirrels?
Are you gonna turn caps lock off, or you enjoy yelling at us?
Squirrel! So, you know.
Shark! Mad
By being light on their tummy tums and dark on their backs, squirrels are slightly harder to see.
What purpose is the light on the bottom? Just
So it's like, you know, if you have a ball, and here's your core shot, or here's your halftone, and it's dark down here, and it's light up here because the light hits it. They will instead be dark over here, and then if they're against the tree that's, you know, entirely dark, you can't just instantly see here's the top, here's the bottom. And there's a couple other patterns that happen in nature that, you know, if you just go to the zoo a lot and you look through animal books, you can start to notice it.
Like the zebra.
One is that you get this effect. I don't have it perfect here, but usually, let's go to Photoshop. Patterning on animals will oftentimes be in sort of a watercolor sense.
No, I just wondering.
I haven't opened them in Photoshop.
There's no comment.
So it'll be a dark section and a light section, but the border between them will have the highest contrast. So it'll be, you know, 0 and 1, and then they'll gradate out to 3 and 7. If that makes sense.
I like X and O. Because I like
I don't know if opening Photoshop is good with that. So that's what I was kind of doing with the stripes here. And another thing that's worth noting here, yeah, so like after doing this patterning, I would go around it and try and create that border using multiply. Shop, where's my document? It'll be. It'll be like that. It'll be like. Does that make sense? You get the idea. So if you look at tiger stripes, fish stripes, a lot of them have that sort of edge nature to them. And another thing that happens a lot in creatures is the stripe will go through the eye. Your sensory organs are very important because if you lose them, you're basically going to die if you're out in the woods. And so a lot of creatures will do lots of different things to hide where their sensory organ is, particularly their nose. So they'll have a stripe that goes through it, or for instance, you know, orca whales are kind of an obvious example, which is, so they will have this giant white spot that, you know, sharks or dinosaurs or whatever will attack, and then they totally ignore the little black spot of eye over here. By putting a stripe through the eye, that kind of helps. And that is so far what I have on this creature. Joey, do you have a file ready to show about the underwater scene?
Yeah, I need to do a lot of refining to it. I can USB stick it to you.
Alright, you can show it later. But basically it's going to be this guy
There you go.
with
I got 4 on
various letters sunken into the water, and that's going to be the splash. And also, if you look, eventually there's going to be like an artwork area. So if you have any artwork that you would like on the seabug website, just send me some JPEGs.
If you have bacon, we have to have the meat mock-up for the instead of image.
And then picture of bacon here.
The same site that gives you the bacon, soon will give you
They'll give you bacon pictures.
the meat pictures to put.
That's pretty. I noticed this is kind of cool. It's this website placehold.it, and then you can just change the URL to whatever you want, and it'll automatically be that size of image.
That's how the bacon into works.
Yeah. So it's just a website with a billion URLs. Like I know anything about code.
So, is there an intentional aliens reference in the design of that creature, or did that just sort of happen?
You know, let's be honest, H.R. Geiger is the man, so pretty much everyone has an aliens influence. But certainly, I love all the horrific sort of mouths and bony plates and underside things.
My favorite mouth is on the goblin shark.
Yeah, goblin sharks are gross. But another thing that, like, a main influence for this was actually Googling seabug, and you get these gigantic, isopods, which are pretty horrible.
Those are worth like 100 points. Without 200,000.
Really?
In Animal Crossing.
Are they tasty? Look at that.
I don't know. I
He's
sell
eating
them.
a shark. Yeah, that's cool.
I like just the nail polish and the Google image results. Like there are multiple nail polish.
Yeah, there are. Huh, weird. Must be a color.
That's weird.
Anyways, so that's the Seattle Blender User Group's new mascot. Also, these are curves, I think, or where. Yeah. I'm going to not work too hard on this because it's not going to be rendered at the end of it. Or it's just going to be one shot, so I can just paint over it if I want. And so, tune in there. I think that's going to be something that I update a little more easily. Like, we have the meetup page, but it's not an official URL. And the problem that I run into with that is Meetup, you have to buy a domain, or you have to buy a Meetup account, and Blender Nation buys one for all of Global Blender, so they can have meetups on it any time. But I can't go in and use their admin settings to make a repeating event. So I wanted to make a website where I can do, I don't know, JSON or something, and have the next seabug automatically show up so people don't get confused. So if you've been burned by that, I'm sorry. I'm getting my act together. Whatever, I'm not paid to do this. I'll never forgive you. Look, yeah, bullet physics, HDR maps. Sounds like we have a lot of stuff to show, so I'm just going to keep going and try and get a lot of my stuff out of the way, and then we can continue. Let me talk about HDR environment maps. So if you go to my website, I've been putting up a lot of free HDR maps, such as this one, or this one,
or that one,
or this Jim Harbaugh picture. And you can go here and, well, here's download. So what is an HDR map? When you have a JPEG, a light probe, such as,
there is no forgiving.
hold on 1 second. What? All right. Sit there. So, when you have a JPEG, such as this, this has certain amounts of information on it that's really useful. What I am doing here, and we took one right before seabug started out in the area outside this classroom, is I'm taking a photo of a mirror ball, and there's an interesting quirk of physics where you can actually see almost 360 degrees when you take a photo like this. You basically can only not see the penumbra that's behind the ball. And you can see this by looking at what is in this picture. So down here, right here at about the 80% mark, is the center of the tripod, like directly under it. So we're getting a picture of directly under this, when in theory that should not, like if you think of a mirror as reflecting just what's in front of it, you shouldn't be able to see that, but just the way this works is kind of interesting. So why do you use this? You can then save these, or you can then use these as an input in 3D for an environment map. The problem is, this is just a JPEG, and so what that means is we have white pixels and black pixels and all the pixels in between. And that's basically a stupid pixel. It's not, as in opposite of a smart pixel. Because when you look outside, if we had that crazy sun and the rain, if we walked outside right now, you would go from this dark, dreary classroom into this beautiful, gorgeous day. Why are we in here? And what would happen is your eyeball, which is a smart pixel, would say, oh, there's way more light here. I have my eye like this because I'm in this dark classroom, but now there's this light. I have to squeeze down and take less light in. And in that way, the human eye is a super powerful piece of equipment. So an HDR environment map means a high dynamic range image. And it is basically an image that's full of smart pixels.
Well, it's full, it uses floats and stuff
Yeah.
instead of integers.
Yeah. So what happens is